Pecha Kucha 12, Doctor Doom, Beyond Two Souls, and Final Fantasy 15. I feel this has been a good week for seeing ways to do things in both kind of techniques and skills and in the narrative form that I may or may not wish to take forward. So let's move on and discuss. So, Jesus Conde, as I'm going to call him, because when I say Jesus, I mean someone else, is a YouTube guy. He does a lot of really like good painterly digital painting. So he was talking about combining opacities and layers and stuff to create kind of smooth colors. So I thought I'd give it a shot. So I kind of whacked out a rough sketch of Doctor Doom. Really wanted to just try and focus on how to color him. He's got the costume, he's got the mask, he's got the skin. So there's a few different things I can focus on trying to get smooth gradients and stuff. So here's the kind of the rough thing I got. Using kind of the spray paint tool, I was trying to kind of get that shiny metal mask thing going on. I feel like it's more successful than I thought it would be since I didn't really look at like any reference for metal. Uh, I decided though it was a bit too all over the place, so I just focused in on his eye and then kind of just tried to do everything a bit better. So the line work, the color work. I went and found a metal texture to apply to kind of give his armor a bit more of a rough and ready finish, and like this is the that eye over the rest of it. In some ways, I actually like the kind of unfinished eye on the right because the lighting just makes it look more ominous. I haven't bothered to color the eye, and like his skin is desaturated, and it's kind of more mood setting for Doctor Doom. So it kind of shows me maybe I can get away with doing less. Beyond Two Souls it's a David Cage game, so it's 100% about narrative. It's basically an interactive film. How interactive, who knows? But this is really like the masterclass on narrative for the week. A very involving story. Couldn't really stop once I started. The story picked up an inertia, a momentum, which you always want when you tell stories. Where I just wanted to know where it was all going. I wanted to see everything play out, and that's ultimately what telling stories and why people read and watch them. That's what it's all about. So the narrative of the game is not in chronological sequence. It's the kind of thing Tarantino does. So you see Jodie, the main character, developing at different points in her life, all over the place, and it adds layers, which is a good thing to have. The game also took me to places I didn't expect to go. Like you end up going to the Navajo Desert and having this whole kind of other thing happen where you meet a brand new cast of characters, and it's almost like a DLC chapter in how standalone it is, but it kind of ties into Jodie's journey for catharsis. Uh, Nathan, one of the core characters, presses the cliche button towards the end. It was pretty obvious it was going to happen, but because his motivations were kind of mired in events that you got to see transpire, and because Willem Dafoe did a good job of the acting, the cliche button didn't make the game feel silly. Speaking of silly, Dark Sorcerer is some sort of entity that is advertised within Beyond Two Souls. It's like a trailer that like cuts to green screen, and it's very heavily comedy based. I don't know what David Cage was thinking with this or how he marketed it, but I'm glad it's at least here so I can see it and appreciate that he's thinking these things. So, change of tack, Final Fantasy 15 finally got around to getting my copy. And unfortunately, having just finished playing Beyond Two Souls, it doesn't tend to come out very strong in direct comparison on some key points. I'll kind of go over what it is that is rubbing me the wrong way right now. As I haven't finished the game, but I don't think these things are going to get any better. First thing, main characters. They're all men. They're all white or Japanese, whichever. They have their kind of predetermined roles and stuff, and I kind of don't dislike any of them, which surprises me. But they don't. Where's Red 13? Where's Kate Sith? Where's Auron? You know what I mean? Where's Kamari? Um, and the sad thing is, 10 hours into the game, they can be kind of defined in one word, kind of left to right, I would say. Nerd, clown, rude jock. And you know, I wouldn't could I do that with the characters from Beyond Two Souls? Maybe. The world also, the game doesn't go to any pains to introduce you properly or aggressively to the lore. It's really like you're just these Japanese dudes in skinny jeans walking around in like Red Dead Redemption. Uh, I don't know. Uh, Character development seems forced as well. I just saw a cutscene where Prompto is like, "Oh, I act like a clown, but I'm really quite insecure and stuff." And he literally says it. It's not shown. It's just a talky conversation, and it directly juxtaposes with how Beyond Two Souls would show you things happening. Uh, yeah, so the king dies, and this is where Noctis has his first emotional outburst. Because you don't know who the king is, he dies. You know, in like the first hour or two of the game. It's kind of it doesn't have any emotional weight, and it's kind of sad because he seemed like a pretty cool dude, but I guess we'll never know now. And to juxtapose twice in Beyond Two Souls, Jodie, you get to see her being bullied, and you get to see why she's become as antisocial as Noctis is at the start of the game, just because he's a manga character and that's an archetype. So it's sucks for Final Fantasy 15 and me playing it that I can make these direct comparisons while both games are fresh in my head. So, because it's, you know, kind of Christmas, literally next Sunday when I upload again, I'm just going to do some kind of stupid Super Santa special where I'm going to have just a string of people I want to draw wearing Christmas hats. It's a bit more than that, but since I might want to opt out of the more ambitious things, I'm not going to say much more, but it should be 6 minutes of highly entertaining. We'll see if that's what it turns out to be. So that brings us to the end of this one. I will see you next time.